We got people already?
Yeah.
They're talking to each other, I guess. Hello, everybody. Just trying to get ourselves set up here. What's going on?
Boy, you're really tall today.
Well, your chair is... Okay, well, how come I'm not getting anything on here? There we go. There we are. Okay, so Deb's here. Oops, there. So I just turned that down, and every time...
There, now I'm taller.
What, are you... Well, you
I'm
look
at
like
the
you're
top
sitting...
now.
Well, no, you're sitting...
I lowered it yet.
You look like you're sitting behind me.
Yeah, well.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's see who we got here. All right. Hi, Stephen Walter. I start my new job tomorrow, so I'm going to have early night. It's nearly 10 p.m. here in UK, so I'll watch for a little while, then we'll have to say goodbye. Very nervous but excited. Well, good luck with that, Deb. Hope it works out for you. What kind of job is it? And Kathy says, good luck, Debs. Hope it is everything you want it. Angela's here. Hello, good luck. Hope everyone has a good November. And Jaylyn is here, a.k.a. Chantel. Hello, and Brenda's here. Hi, Brenda. We're doing fine. And so I'm a little tired because I just got back from my art journaling class. That's why we're on an hour later, as you know.
Plus, we had time change last night.
So, yeah.
Our clocks went backwards.
Our clocks went back an hour last night for daylight savings time. And I know that not every country in the world has this, but we have it.
I don't know why we have it anymore.
It was done for the farmers way back.
It causes a bunch of disruption, too.
Yeah, it does. But now we're a civilization that can do anything 24/7, so we're not really dependent on it, but we still have it for some reason. So anyways, so what are we going to talk about? What are we drinking? What'd I call it? A Chamello. A Chamello. It's champagne with limoncello in it. I just made up the name. And Deb says, it's a min job. Had to give my nursing career up because of my back. Still on the ward, but in a little office making referrals and booking appointments. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, that sounds okay.
Can be okay.
Yeah. Julie's here. Hi, Julie. And so anyways, speaking of nursing, my mother got a phone call late. It was left as a message on my voicemail from my mother's doctor. Friday. What'd I say?
You didn't say it.
I thought I said Friday.
You said late. You said late. You didn't say what day.
I thought I said Friday. Well, who cares? Late Friday. What does it matter? Anyways, there was a voicemail message left. And it was about my mother. I guess they're going to place her next week in a nursing home. But I don't know exactly what day or what time or what nursing home. Nothing. The doctor seemed to say that I should expect a call, I guess, from the organization that looks after all this. We call it the CCAC. Actually, it's got another title, but I don't know what it is anymore. And so I'm anticipating that I'll hear tomorrow. And we go from there. So, brand new learning curve for both my mother and for us, I guess. We're assuming she's going to be put in the one that's very close to where the hospital is that she's in, because that had the lowest wait time. It's not the nicest of the ones that we had selected, because it's old. But I hear good things about the staff there, and we did take a tour of it, and the people that were living there seemed to be well known by all of the staff and seemed to be, you know, happy enough. And
yeah, and they were having an exercise class.
Yeah.
Or that was more than we saw in any other nursing home that we went to, or long-term care, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that place seemed to be, although it was old inside, seemed to be a little bit more active than.
Yeah. So one of my friends, actually the lady who owns the scrapbooking store that I teach at, her mother is in this place, and her mother loves it. Now, her mother does have dementia.
Who knows what you know.
So maybe, I don't know. But seems to like it, and Carol seems to think that the staff are very good there. So, but I've warned my mother, and I don't know how many times I have tried to prepare her for this and keep telling her that, you know, it's not a 5-star hotel. It's a little old. Staff are supposed to be good. And she'll probably just get put into a basic ward room to start with. I mean, it depends what comes up, but they don't have that many.
Yeah, well, right now, I think it's sort of up in the air. Like the ward rooms and the semi-private are about the same wait time, so it could be either one.
Yeah, so we don't know. Kathy says she's just buffering now. Everything's okay at our end.
Could be your internet connection.
Might be your internet connection, Kathy. Might have to do a refresh. We never know. You know that this. I guess a lot of people don't realize, but if you're not a creator on YouTube, you might not realize that basically we have no control over what happens once it gets transmitted. 9 times out of 10, the problems that people have are the problems with their internet connection, so their provider, or something with YouTube itself. It's not usually something that's caused by the people who are broadcasting, because really, when you're broadcasting, it's very easy. We're looking at my iPad right now. That's it. We go into YouTube. We click on the icon for video.
If everybody is buffering or something like that, then there is possibility that our upload's not working properly.
Maybe. But hopefully... Oh yeah, Kathy says, I refreshed and you're back. Okay, great. So, and Pracy says her connection is fine. Hi, Pracy. And Angela had to refresh as well. So usually refreshing solves the problem. I mean, I have the same problem when I watch other people's live videos too sometimes. And I just find if I refresh, it's okay. But anyways, that's best we can do. I mean, I know it always sounds like we're making an excuse, or like when I hear other people say that too. But really, we have very little control over how this works. So we just connect in like everybody else, and away we go. So anyways, back to my mom. So we'll see. Tomorrow, we'll find out what's going on. So I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to work out okay, because really, to be honest, I'm tired of this. And
also it's the fact that she's in the hospital knowing that you're waiting to get placed. And it's like you don't know when that's going to happen. And you're sort of on a holding pattern.
Our lives have been on hold since my mother went into the hospital. Well, our lives have been on semi-hold since I retired 6 years ago, because having to look after my parents.
Yeah, and one thing that's going to be bad, like your mother right now gets served food in bed, and she's going to have to go down to the dining room or they'll take her down there. But I mean, that means she has to get up early.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be a whole new can of worms, and I'm going to have a little talk with her, and it's not going to make any difference. But I have to tell her, okay, Mom. And basically, if my mother doesn't want to do something, she won't do it. That's why she's in the hospital, because she refused to walk. The doctor finally said to me, there is nothing physically wrong with your mother. We don't know why she won't walk. And I said, because she doesn't want to. And that's the only answer you're going to get. And
she doesn't want to. The other thing is she doesn't want to try.
Hi, Carol.
The doctor says she's not motivated. Like, she'll get people helping her, standing next to her to help her walk, but she won't do it.
Yeah. And in fact, ironically, the other day, what was it she said? I don't know why.
She said that last week. We said that on the
pod.
Oh,
did we? Oh.
Yeah. She said, I don't know why I can't walk. Everybody's only been telling her why she hasn't been able to walk in a year, but she doesn't seem to.
And if she isn't going to be served food in bed or whatever, I know what she's going to start doing. She's going to say, oh, I'm not hungry, I'm not feeling well. And she'll stop eating. And that's not good. And
mind you, the people that work in those nursing homes, they seem to be able to change their minds sometimes.
Yeah, well, we'll see. My grandmother, her mother, was in a nursing home for quite a few years. And when she got up into her upper 90s, just before she died, she basically stopped eating. She didn't want to live. She just stopped eating. And,
well, my mom did that too.
And they couldn't force the food into her. They couldn't get it. In fact, they would have put her on a feeding tube or something like that, but at her age.
Yeah.
They figured, and she died. I mean, she picked her time. I'll say that for her. She was not anybody else's schedule. She decided, but...
Well, my mom had bad dementia, and one day they called me. We were away on a weekend or something, and they phoned me, and they said, your mother has stopped eating and drinking. She won't take anything. And then they said to me, do you want us to put her on a feeding tube? And I said, no. I said, because I didn't think at any point, right? So,
yeah.
And then I got there the next day, and sure enough, I watched them try to give her some food, and she just clamped right down. She wouldn't take it.
Yeah, that's what my grandmother did too. So anyway, so, you know, I guess I got to look at it this way. My mother doesn't have dementia. There's nothing wrong with her brain. She's of sound mind. It's her life. They're her decisions. When you make decisions, there's always consequences. You must be prepared to put up with the consequences. I can't make her do anything she doesn't want to do.
Exactly.
So, you know, but I'm her son. You know, what are you supposed to do? But it's really, like, if I wasn't gray already, I'd be gray. Okay? It's probably fallen out by now. But I'm just tired all the time. All I do is think about my mother and the situation, and I'm constantly running interference with this, that, and the other thing. Like, she hasn't used that stupid brace that we told you about, and $650 useless. I guess they tried to get her in it last week one day and get her up. Well, she said, well, it wasn't adjusted right, and it was rubbing her chin, and they didn't think it was right, so they took it off her. I think what really happened was my mother doesn't want that thing. She doesn't want to wear it. She doesn't want to try it out. She turned around and says, oh, no, it hurts. It hurts. I don't like this. It hurts. And she put up enough of fuss. They just decided, look, okay, fine, you know. And so I was prepared this week to phone the doctor, say, you know, because I know the physiotherapist has seen it. And I said to my mother, and she gave me an evasive answer. I said, well, is the therapist going to get the people who fitted you up with this to come in and refit it or whatever? Well, my mother wasn't sure about that, but she assumed that would happen. I don't even know if the physiotherapist has seen this. I don't know what's going on because I don't know what's real and what's not real because I get several different stories from several different ways.
But she's telling you maybe completely different from what she's telling the doctors and the nurses. She may be saying to the nurses, I'm not wearing that thing.
Yeah, and that could be it. But whatever. I know what the problem is for me. The problem is for me, I get too involved in it. You know, it could be because of like guilt, because my mother was really good at instilling guilt in her children. Obviously, actually, I was the only one it took. It didn't really take so much on my sister and my brother. But anyways, and my mother feels that, like she told me one time, yeah, well, it's because you're the oldest. Oh, yeah, I remember being there and saying, hey, me first, push me out first, okay? I want to take on all the responsibilities here.
Yeah, like with me, I was the youngest and I had to take on all the
But you were the only male.
I was the only
male. And you came from European parents.
Yeah, and my sister, the oldest, my dad didn't want to give her power of attorney because of she did some things to him that stole some money, sort of.
Your sister was a sneaky bitch. There's no two ways about it. She's dead. Good. What are people saying? Tracy says, does Mom want to be a martyr, Stephen? Yeah.
Probably.
She does. She has a martyrdom complex. Oh, yeah. She's had that for years, well, all her life.
She also has that sort of, is that martyrdom where she says, I'll do this and you'll be sorry?
Yeah, sort of a thing. It's what I consider the 5-year-old boy who's been scolded. I'm going to run away from home and then you'll be sorry. It's kind of that attitude. She doesn't really speak it in that kind of language, but that's the kind of thing you get. But everybody loves her. At the hospital, I don't know how many times the nurses have said to me,
love her right
oh,
now.
She's such a nice lady. She's so sweet. Yeah, then you take her home. Like, I don't know. Chuck says her life is the wisdom for now. No idea what that means, Chuck. Sorry.
Would be autocorrect.
Yeah, maybe. Deb says, bless you, Stephen. It's hard when you have a relative who's elderly and needs care. Yep, it is. And Priest says, I never get why there's always a designated caregiver in all families. There's always a sucker born every minute. So there you go. But anyways, new learning curve for everybody involved when this all happens next week. And I hope it doesn't happen on Thursday because I have a sewing class on that day, and it's the first class for the modern quilt, and I really don't want to miss it.
Well, you can also voice your thing that Thursday afternoon is bad for you or something.
Well, yeah, but do they listen to you?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I've had this.
I can always do it for you. I have experience.
Yeah, but you can't sign the papers and all the other stuff. There's paperwork
No, I
to be
know.
done because I've done it with my dad, and I know what's involved. And my sister's working Wednesday,
His
Thursday,
sister's
Friday, and Saturday.
conveniently working next week. Oh. Sorry. What?
Nothing. Let's not go there.
Okay, fine.
Okay? For reasons. Anyways, so that's an update, my mother. Let's move on. Julie says, I had 4 older brothers, but when it came to sorting out fares for my mom and dad, it all fell to me. Yep, because you were the only girl probably, Julie, and that happens in a lot of families. Well, my sister's the only girl in the family, but she's the baby. She's the youngest, so whatever. I mean, my sister does her part too, but she works too. So, I mean, and she works part-time, full-time hours, and they don't seem to be very flexible. Well, they're Dutch. Oops. Whatever that's all about. Anita's here. Hi, Anita. And so anyways, let's move on. Got some things you might be interested in this week to see on my vlog. We went to, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute, went to a quilt show, and I did do a little video of that, and I purchased something there. Of course I did. I got a quilt rack, and I'll have pictures of that on the vlog tomorrow, and it's on my Facebook. Excuse me, got the hiccups. If any of you follow my Facebook, I don't know. I don't write a lot on Facebook, so.
Actually, it was a pretty good price too.
Yeah.
I figured by the time I bought, if I were going to attempt to make one.
Why do I laugh at that? Not because you couldn't make one, because it would be, well, we'd be 80 by the time it was done. Well, what about that book press of mine? You know, the one that 10 years ago?
I know. But you're not doing books anymore.
Because I don't have a book press.
Well, it's too bad. Yeah, as if that would have made a difference.
Whatever. So,
I offered to make it for you again. Like I saw the wood.
You don't know where my, but do you have the big thing that I spent a lot of money on?
Yeah, the big thing. I know where it is.
In the press? Well, big deal. I don't care. Doesn't matter anymore. So what we're saying here about the quilt rack. So yeah, there was a guy, an older gentleman and his wife. Actually, she was very proud of the fact that she let us all know she was 80. Actually, she was doing pretty well. She was doing our credit and everything for paying for it. But it was $159.95, no tax. It's oak. It's nicely made. And yeah, other ones I was looking at were comparable to this, were anywhere from $300 and up. More than that. So yeah, I figured, well, better get it while the going's good. And he was selling them pretty quick at that quilt show. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Yeah, so that's on the vlog. And also on the vlog, I put something else on the vlog. What else am I putting on the vlog? I can't remember. There was something else. Well, check the vlog tomorrow. You'll see it all. Let's see. Tracy says, I haven't spoken to my mom since 2004. I will not be her caregiver. Yeah, that happens a lot in families too. I mean, I don't hate my mother or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But some days, you know, whatever. So, oh, Anita says, I saw it. Very nice looking in all your quilts. Thanks, Anita. So, anyways, so our sewing classes. Walter finally finished his quilt. You just finished now, isn't it?
Yeah, I just have to hand sew the sleeves to that.
But you got everything else done.
Yeah, I've got it. You want me to look at it?
Yeah.
No. I've got the binding on and everything.
Okay. It looks really good. Damn it. Every time I start something and he does the same thing, he always does it better than me. Go figure. And of course, he doesn't take a beginner class in quilting. This class, although it said it was for all levels, this is what I consider more intermediate level.
Yeah, pretty much first time I've ever done anything like this.
So there it is. It's all done. Looks very good. Now I have to figure out where to hang it. Because it's got to be hung somewhere so people can see it. Deb says, that's lovely, Walter. Yeah, it's really quite nice. So what class are you taking next?
Right, no, I'm still taking my surgery.
Oh yeah, he's still in his surgery class. Oh God, there are some dopey ones in that class, I can tell.
Oh my God. I wish in some ways that a couple of people that, one for sure.
Everybody's loving your quilt.
We have, I think we may have covered this last week. We have one teacher that's really mouthy. And actually this week we were supposed
When he says teacher, she's a participant. She's not the teacher.
Yeah, no,
of the
that's
class.
her profession.
Yeah.
She's not the teacher. That's what she supposedly does, and she just can't shut up. And the other thing is that, and asks stupid questions all the way through the class. And then starts yakking when the teacher's trying to demonstrate something. And teacher really should tell her to shut up.
Wow.
But anyway, and then we had to pick out fabric for napkins because one of the lessons next week is making napkins. So I kind of already knew what I wanted for fabric, so that I was easy to pick out. But this
They're just easy.
This one student, which is the teacher by profession, she picked out 2 colors of fabric, which personally I thought they were ugly colors, but that's just my taste. And she had a 3rd color, and she didn't know which one she wanted to pick. She went on for about half an hour. She was going to make 8 napkins, and when she finally decided to get the fabric, she turns around and says, "Well, I'm only going to make 4 now."
Oh.
So
Okay.
I'm sure the lady that owns the store was not happy.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, you get those all the time. Although that class sounded to me like a lot worse than any of the classes I've taken. But anyways,
the quilting class that I had for the stained glass quilt, the people in there were all pretty good.
Yeah.
Didn't have anybody except for the Polish lady. She was a little bit. One lady in there.
Out to lunch?
Yeah, she was just. I don't know. It's almost like she was having some problems with dementia. Because she didn't seem to retain any information. And
well, maybe she did have the early stages of something
I
like that.
don't know. She has like very unusual. Like the teacher showed her how to do one thing one way, and then the next time she went to try
Deb.
it again, it's like she completely forgot what we did.
Yeah, well, maybe she did. Maybe that's why she was taking the classes. Maybe
I don't know.
You know, whatever. I don't know. Well, anyways, so this Thursday I'm starting the modern quilt class with the same teacher that he had for the stained glass class. She's not going to like my colors. My colors are pretty bold. They're K-Facet fabric, which if you know K-Facet, he deals in very bright colors with bold prints and things like that.
And she was in one talking to one of the ladies in my class, and I don't know if she was taking another class or something. She was picking out fabrics, and she goes, that's really bold. You might want to tone that down a bit.
Well, she can make a suggestion, but I'm not taking it because I want it to be bold. I want it to be loud. I want it to be obnoxious. Yes.
So just like your personality.
Oh, let's see. Pick a finger. I suggest that one. Okay. So, moving on. You know that I bought a 3rd sewing machine, and we've talked about that. So I had my brother, the original sewing machine that basically got me into all of this, that I bought, for $189 at Costco a couple of years ago. So I'd gotten it down off the shelf, dusted it off the other day, and tried it out. It works fine, but it's like once you've had what I have now.
When did we go there? Did we go there like this past Monday?
Where? Yeah, the school. Yeah.
Okay, this is past Monday.
Yeah, okay. So now, as usual, jump ahead.
No, I know. It's just I'm trying to figure out if we talked about this last week or not. Okay, go ahead.
Whatever. Okay. I'm in that kind of mood.
I thought we talked about this already. Anyway.
Anyways. Oh, yeah, we did. Okay, because it was last Sunday when I contacted Val just before we went online on the show and said I was... Okay, come on. Are we back?
I hope so.
Hi. Can you guys see us and hear us again? Because it just disconnected at our end, and I think I'm reconnected. So let me know. I'll just wait here a second. I see that Kim is here. Hi, Kim. Kim's from Chatterbox Quilts. Everybody knows about that. Okay, Anita says yes. So we're back. Okay, don't know. Going to be that kind of show tonight, maybe. All right. And Mel says, oh, hi, Mel. Mel's here. Yes, can see and hear you. Okay, good. All right. Anyways, we went to the school. Things have changed a lot in 6 years since I was teaching. In fact, school has finally become what I wanted it to be 20 years ago. The kids all have laptops. Everything is done paperlessly, pretty much. The school setup is actually, the architects are the same architects that built the school that I retired from. It's pretty much the same layout and design, but they've got some neat, sophisticated ideas in this school. The library. Now, the guy who took over my job when I retired and he became the head of the department, he transferred over to the new school at some point. He did some other things. He's no longer a department head, but he had his library part one. The guy who was there, I don't know if it was a guy or a woman, I think it was a guy, was the librarian at the school, moved to another one sort of very quickly in the summer months of school year. So Jason went to teacher's college, did his course, probably do it all online now, don't have to physically go to the teacher's college, did part 2 and part 3 specialists in library, and he's the head. But the library is all, like the seating is like, they have booths in there, like in a restaurant kind of a thing. These freestanding booths that the kids can sit at and work. They have what look like pub tables and high back, pub chairs kind of a thing where they can collaborate. And they have zones where they have a television monitor, a flat screen attached to this group of tables, and the kids can all plug in wirelessly their laptop, and so they can switch, like if want to show something, they're planning a presentation or something, one kid can switch over what's on their screen so the rest can all see it on the bigger screen and stuff like this. Not only do they have this in the library, but they have it in the hallways, in certain parts of the hallways of the school, and where kids can have study groups, and they can go to these areas and do this kind of stuff. And I thought, wow. In 6 years, that's how the technology has changed.
However, a lot of that stuff is like the way it was at where I worked and stuff like that.
Yeah, but this is education.
Yeah,
so, where you were working, they had money.
Yeah.
The education never gets any money because they keep cutting the education budgets here. But I mean, I just thought this was the environment that I always envisioned since I was a pioneer in education when it came to using technology. I was using technology back when I first started teaching in the 80s. I wrote computer programs that we used in school for Commodore 64 because I learned some basic back then. I mean, really Mickey Mouse and primitive by today's standards for sure. But at the time, there weren't a lot of people doing that in education.
Or in English.
And especially in English education, as in I was an English teacher. So, that was kind of a thing. And I always dreamed of a day when every kid would have a laptop and we would be completely computerized. I mean, before I left the school, when I retired, I was marking their essays electronically. I even wrote a program that would help me to, when I found a grammatical error in a paper, I just had a code that I hit into the computer, like held down one key, hit another key, bang, and it would highlight the error, show the correction, and explain why this was an error and embed it into their essay. And then I would print out all their essays after I had them marked, give them back to them, and they would see very clearly where their errors were and how to correct them. And I actually had them do some analysis of those errors because I had them color code it. It was a very sophisticated system that I developed over years. I tried to teach other teachers how to use it. Yeah. No.
Especially English teachers.
Oh, God, no. They're such traditionalists. They didn't want to break out of the mold. Also, it made marking papers a lot faster. And I thought it was more meaningful for the kids. And especially if you worked with them with those things. But I was kind of ahead of my time, maybe. I don't know. But it almost made me want to go back and teach again. But no, 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 no.
Well, the sewing machine was well appreciated, and we saw the sewing class too, and it was quite amazing.
Yeah, it's quite amazing what they had in the school from their sewing class and everything like that. They had really good machines in there. Berdinas, like, how much did you say you looked them up?
They're like an industrial Bernina. They're all metal, and I think I looked them up, and they run around between $1,600 and $2,000
Yeah.
each.
Kim says, yes, where did the money come from? Technology has so many advantages and access so much more information with students. Well, where the money came from is they have a program. They started it at some of the lower grades, and they give the kids it's not actually a laptop, it's a Chromebook. So they're a little cheaper, and that means that the software is all in the cloud. And so, like Google Docs and Google Spreadsheet and Google Presentations and all that kind of stuff. And that's primarily what they use.
And the Chromebooks don't have a lot of internal memory on them. So if they're actually creating documents and stuff like that, there isn't a lot of storage on those. So they probably have a box in the cloud.
Yeah.
To
they have a Dropbox or Google Drive, probably. Yeah.
And the other reason probably that they don't have a lot of memory on these is that they can't download a lot of their own stuff.
No, and they probably have it restricted too. But apparently, I don't know if they get to keep these or they have to turn them in at the end of the school year. And I think they have to turn them in at the end of the school year. And I think if they wreck it or break it, they have to pay for the cost to replace it or fix it or something.
At first, she said, the lady that took us around, she said the first couple of years, they said they were if something happened, like the kid dropped it and broke the screen or something like that, they would replace it for free or something.
Yeah.
But or it was included, but now they said that it's their responsibility if they break it.
So, mind you, those computers are not that expensive, and this school is in an area that's fairly affluent too. Okay, we're not talking here. We call it Brooklyn. It's a little town, Brooklyn, but it's part of another town called Whitby, which is where I was teaching and where I grew up, and it's just next door to our town where we live.
It's all subdivision.
It's all subdivision, the whole bit. But there's a lot of upperly mobile, middle class kind of community, and so there's money there to be had. Not all the schools in our area get this. I don't think they do. Maybe they do. Maybe they rolled it out in all of them. But I know down in the southern part of where we live, that's considered the more needy area, which is exactly who needs this kind of technology. Heaven only knows what they're doing down there.
It also depends on the principal that's running the school and what they're willing to do to how they embrace the technology in that. It may not be a board-wide direction. They may have also been a guinea pig school.
Yeah, I'm just going to interrupt you for a second. Chuck says, could you focus a bit? And we're not out of focus, Chuck. But what could be happening, would you like me to finish the sentence? What could be happening is you're getting a little bit of pixelization because of the internet connection. And that's something that is not at our end and may not be at your end. It's in between. And so sometimes that will happen. But right now we're watching it too. We can see what you're seeing as we do this. This is why I have my phone down here.
And yours is okay.
And mine is fine. So it'll probably clear up after a few seconds. But nope, we're not on a camera. So there isn't a focus.
No focus control.
What we're actually, as I said earlier, what we're actually recording this through or transmitting this through is an iPad. It's not a camera, digital camera, or anything. It's an actual iPad. Like Anita says, picture is clear on her screen. Sue Stenstream, in high school they rent first 3 years, senior year their final payment, then they own it. Okay, is how they do it in there. Where are you from, Sue? And Chuck says, thanks for the information. No problem, Chuck. Okay, so anyways, it was interesting to see that school. I hadn't been over. I think this was their 4th year they've been, so I haven't been over there. Half of my English department I had transferred to that school. and whatnot. So I still know probably quite a few of the teachers that are over there, but yeah, it almost made me want to go back. Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay, so that was that. So the quilt show, we were talking about that, and I bought the quilt rack. Well, this is the guild in another town that's close to us. It's not the guild I belong to. It's another one. And we went, and I've never been to a quilt show before. I didn't really know what to expect. It was okay. I expected, though, it to be a little bigger, and it wasn't that big. It had a few vendors there. Oh, there was one vendor there that came from another town quite a ways away from us. And I don't know if she has a brick and mortar store or just does it online, but there was some fabric there that I wanted. Nice look. Maybe your face will stick like that. It might be an improvement. I don't know. Just saying. So anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I bought a couple of meters of fabric she had there, and actually it was a little pricey for a meter of fabric, but it was leftovers from our centennial back a couple, 2 years ago now? What is it? 2018? Last year, our 150th for Canada, and they had this special fabric made up, and they had quilt things going on and whatnot. Well, I had bought at the other Creative Fest that we went to a few weeks ago, I had bought Quilts of Valor squares, and they have, of course, the maple leaf, our national symbol, all over these squares. And eventually, if I ever get all the squares put together and make it into quilt, I will need backing fabric. Well, I saw this that had maple leaves all over, and it's in the same design and color scheme as the Quilts of Valor stuff. So I grabbed 2 bundles of it. They were 1 meter bundles. I get up to the lady. She has a suitcase, a small suitcase sitting on her little desk there. This is where she's making her transactions. So I looked at her and I said, what's blowing up in the hot pot?
That's a hot pot. It's done its thing. I'll just let it.
Oh. Anyways, so I said to her, okay, do you take charge? She goes, because I didn't want to pay cash. Well, first of all, I asked her how much the meters were. I thought they might be $10 a meter because all the other stuff she had there said $10 a meter. Oh no, these weren't $10 a meter. These were $18 a meter. Which is
expensive.
That's expensive, okay? I pay generally $14 a meter at Ultimate Sewing. And even other places I go to.
And you usually get 10% off.
Yeah, I do, because I bought so many bloody sewing machines. But anyways, I said, okay, fine, because I want the fabric anyways, and I had 2 meters of it. Well, she didn't know whether the charge card would work. So she starts plugging it in because she'd forgot her iPad at home. So she was trying to do it from her phone using some kind of program. I don't know what it was, but she didn't have one of those little cubes, that they plug into the bottom of their iPhones and it connects them wirelessly to whatever the pay system is.
Not very organized.
No, I wasn't impressed. But anyway, she tried. Well, first of all, she had a few. I said to her, maybe I'll come back later. And for it. And they said, well, we could give it a try. You didn't want to lose a sale, right? So she did. It didn't work. And I said, okay, here. I gave her the cash. I had the cash on me. So I just gave her the cash, and so fine. But I wasn't too impressed with that. I bought some Christmas fabric because I'm making these napkins, and I embroidered one of the napkins, and it was going along nicely. I was doing a corner embroidery, put one corner in. Halfway, 3/4 of the way through the second corner, my machine jammed up. Pulled the bobbin right up in the whole bit. I went, oh my God, what's going on? Had a huge bird's nest underneath it. Pulled it all out, got it all up and going again. But in the meantime, it had put my pattern, I didn't realize it, off center. So the rest of the stitching was not in the right place. Now, if you looked at it real quick, you wouldn't really notice it, but these are going to be a gift. And
your sister, if your sister wouldn't notice, your brother-in-law.
And my brother-in-law would notice it, and I would not hear the end of it. So
you could have just said, tell her they were seconds.
Yeah, right. And you give me seconds for Christmas. Yeah, whatever. So anyways, I was a little frustrated with that. Actually, I found out since the bobbins that I'm using, I've got some that are defective. It wasn't anything I did. It was the bobbins themselves, because spoke to Shirley at Ultimate Sewing about it.
They're pre-wound bobbins.
They're pre-wound bobbins in the whole bit, and they're a good brand. Like, and they're not bad for price. I think you get, what do I get? 12 bobbins for $13 or something, and usually they work. But I have noticed this last package of bobbins, and I said this to Shirley at Ultimate Sewing. I said they seem sticky. Like, you pick them up and they don't unwind and you have to go around. She says she pulled out one. She goes, you should be, before you put your bob in your machine, she says, do this, pull the end of it, and it should all start to unravel freely. And she said, I said, well, was there a batch or something that were defective? She says, there was. The bobbins were wound too tight. And she says, just bring it in or whatever. I said, well, I didn't. I threw it out, you know. And Shirley, being the kind of person that she is, she gave me a brand new package of bobbins because of this. Well, I had several that did this, but I mean, nevertheless, I didn't expect any of that. I mean, they're not that expensive, you know, live and learn. The only thing I was pissed off was that it messed up my napkin, but I mean, oh well, I'll get through this one way or another anyways. So I bought more Christmas fabric to make more napkins because I want to make napkins for us too. And now I just saw something on YouTube this afternoon there about making a Christmas tablecloth. And I'm thinking, And all they do is they go out and they buy a cheap colored tablecloth somewhere, and then she added a border to it, and she just embroidered in the corners. Actually, I don't know. I think I could probably, if I bought 2 meters of Christmas fabric and I did a rolled hem on it with the serger, and I just, I mean, that would cost me $28.
Yeah.
I don't know how cheap a tablecloth you get, like for a large tablecloth.
No, the tablecloth would, well, I don't know.
Well, the quality would be.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe that's something to do. What are people saying to? Sequels, touch. Okay, got a lot of stuff here. Tracy says, touch the back of the iPad. Is it getting too hot? Well, ours isn't. Are you talking about Chuck's? Maybe. Chatterbox Quilts. Kim says, no square. Oh, no. And Tracy says, Stephen, other vloggers who use their phones or iPads have the same issues, but it's their devices which get too hot. Let me feel mine. Nope. Mine's as cool as a cucumber. Now, when you say that, I just thought of something. What's his name? Ken's Creations. He sometimes does this Ken from the car thing, and it was really hot one day, and he was losing his because the car was so hot. And he said it was heat was affecting his phone, and he had an iPhone. So must be something to that. But no, we're not hot. We're in Canada. Yeah. And it's fine. So I don't know. It's just those quirks. That's what you have when you do technology. When you want technology the most. And I'm just going to blame it all on all of your equipment.
It always happened. It always happened when I went to a meeting at work or something like that, and they had to use technology. And they have everything hooked up, and they try it before the meeting. It worked fine, but as soon as the meeting started, it wasn't working.
Tracy says, Stephen, do you have a standalone bobbin winder? Let me tell you about that. There's something called the Sidewinder. It is a standalone bobbin winder. It takes batteries or something like that, and they sell it at Ultimate Sewing. They're about 50 bucks. I decided one day I was going to buy this. Now, I was buying it because it's just, I thought it might be more convenient because every time I have to wind a bobbin, it's usually halfway through a project. You know, I've got to take everything off my machine. Well, actually, technically, I don't. I have an extra spindle. But I find that the spindle doesn't really sit properly in the machine for some reason. So I thought, well, I'll get one of these. So when I got it up to the counter, one of the ladies that works at Ultimate Sewing, Trudy, she's been there forever, I think, she says, and you have to know Trudy. Trudy is this nice, she looks like a gentle little old lady, very proper kind of a thing. I don't think she is. But anyway, she's got kind of a weird, like, she's fun. Anyway, she says, oh, do you really want that? And I said, well, yeah, but when Trudy says, do you really want that? I have a feeling there's a story behind it. She says, why, Trudy? Is this not really good? She says, well, I didn't have a lot of luck with it. And so you knew, like, she was, in other words, so what you're saying, Trudy, is pretty much not worth the effort, you know, to buy. Yeah, she says, well, I think you'd be disappointed. Okay, that was enough. I trust Trudy's so I did not buy
You're lucky that you got Trudy.
Yeah. But, well, that's not to say that none of the rest of them would have done it, but Trudy knows a lot of stuff. So she, you know, and Shirley, too, is the same way. She will not sell you something if she doesn't think...
has it in the store.
Yeah, but they're sitting gathering dust.
Yeah.
And I don't know for how long. Shirley didn't happen to be there that day, so...
They may be on their garage sale.
Yeah, they could be on the garage sale. Well, maybe you can pick up one for $10. For $10, I'll try it out. If it doesn't work right, well... But anyways, so no, to answer your question, Tracy, I do not have a standalone one.
However, your machine's set up that you can actually wind a bob.
Yes, I could.
Without having to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could. But my problem was that I didn't wind these bobbins. These were pre-wound bobbins by Deco Bob, they're called, which is Wonderfil, I think. And they're supposed to be really good. And like Shirley said, yes, there was a bad batch. They were wound too tight. And that would explain why this did what it did, because it couldn't get the thread off. Kim says, I have a sidewinder too, but don't use it too often. It doesn't work too well for cones. Need to use a separate thread holder for this. And Tracy says, I bought one. It's so slow and poorly designed. Okay, so other people are having the same problem. So I'm glad I didn't invest in that. And Kim says, I think that your sewing machine would probably do a better job. Yes. And actually, I was going to do a little... well, I was winding my own bobbins for the embroidery part. We're using the embroidery thread, like the Floriani that I had. And that worked fine. But then I saw these Deco Bobs, and then in one of my classes, they were talking about them and said, oh, yeah, you got... because of the way they were wound, there is more thread on them. And it's even and everything like that. Whereas I guess sometimes when you wind your own bobbins, you can't have a problem. But so I took their word at that. And yes, I had no problems until just the other day. Unfortunately, it happened when I was doing the damn napkin and it kind of PO'd me. Hi, Andy. Andy's here. Kim says, pre-wound bobbins usually work quite well, so you definitely just got a bad batch. Yeah, that's the way, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Okay, so that was sewing. I'm looking forward to the modern quilt class. Maybe, I'm not sure. Not sure if this teacher and I are going to come into conflict. Probably not.
No, probably not. She's okay.
I cut everything this morning before I went to my class, and there was a lot to cut. I'm glad I'm doing it all from a jelly roll, because they're all 2.5-inch strips, but there's like 70 pieces of this, and there's 40 of this, and then there's another 40 of this one, and the whole bit.
It will be bold, though.
Oh, it will be. Yep. I had Walter, I'd laid out, I bought 2 jelly roll packs. We need 35 strips. The jelly roll packs I bought have 40 in them. And they're both K-facet. One's sort of in blues and purples and greens, and the other one is sort of oranges, yellows, and pinks and stuff like that. And his fabrics are always very bold. I love his fabrics. It was the first quilt I ever made was from K-facet, and I don't know who K-facet was at the time. And I loved the colors in it. And this is a modern quilt, so it should be bold. It should be not traditional. So I got 2 jelly rolls, though, because I thought, well, it gives me more selection. So I selected my 35 strips that I was going to work with, and then I separated them out into lights, mediums, and darks. And I called Walter down and says, okay, we're going to play a game. One of these things doesn't belong. Which strip do you think I should get rid of? However, whatever strip you pick, you have to replace with a strip from this pile over here, which were the leftover strips. And I just wanted to see what he was going to do. You only picked one.
No, I picked the one with the flower that was a lot of yellow in it. And then I picked, there was one red one that I replaced with the yellow.
Yeah.
Right? And then you were trying to replace the fish one.
The one that had the fish.
But, you know, I got thinking about it. I bet you won't even notice.
You won't when it's cut up. And now I've cut it up, and no, you won't notice that it had fish on it. So that's fine. The only reason I didn't want the fish on it is because everything else had a floral. Yeah, I like the colors in it. That's why it was in that pile. Yeah. But I wasn't so sure about the pattern. But anyways. So, anyways, got that all sorted out, and I will show you it as time goes by. You rest assured you will find that. Kim says, gotta love Cafe Facet fabrics. Yummy. Yep, I just love them. And those fish are huge. I have it in a fat quarter. Yeah, one with the bluey, quarter and purpley kind of stuff in it. Yeah. I mean, on their own, they'd probably make a really neat quilt. Okay, so anyways, so what did we do Friday night? Well, RMG Fridays. You know, you've heard us say it enough times. Once a month, off to the art gallery. That's our volunteer. Used to be art gallery attendants. Don't do that anymore. Boring. Told the new guy that's looking after all this, don't want to do that. What else have you got for us? So he wanted us to sort of talk up a major event that's coming up in a couple of weeks, which we've also volunteered to work at, called RMG Exposed. And basically it's an auction of photographers from all over the place, actually, but it's art photography. In fact, last year, and if you remember, if you go back to one of those vlogs a year ago, we showed you the 2 pieces that we bid on and we won, that we have. But it's also the major fundraiser for the year for the art gallery, and they depend on it. It's a very well attended event. It's $60 a ticket unless you're a member of the art gallery. Then it's $50, and it's an open bar, and they have fancy hors d'oeuvre foods and everything there as well, and a little bit of entertainment too. And they have the auction. So we're going to be well, we have volunteered for that night. But meanwhile, he wanted us to chat it up. So we had this table, and we got people came over. I was basically grabbing them outside and go, "Hi, do you know about RMG Exposed?" I said to Walter later, we could have made this more interesting. We thought about, we could have worn bathrobes and walked up with the bathrobe closed, right, and say, "Hi, let me tell you about RMG Exposed." And inside, we would have had our bathrobes all lined with brochures and about tickets and everything like that. No, there would have been no nudity. We want the people to stay, not run away scared out of that. But so we talked to a lot of people about it, and you know, they could fill in for a contest to win 2 tickets that night, freebies for it. The one thing that's the selling point for it, though, is you tell them there's an open bar, and they all light up. Then you tell them the tickets are $60 a piece, and they don't light up so much. But whatever. But it'll be well attended. It always is every year.
Actually, one of the ladies that was filling it out.
Are you gonna live?
Yeah, I don't know. One of the ladies that was filling it out, I was looking at her and I thought, you look familiar to me.
Oh yeah.
And it turns out she was somebody that I worked with part time when I was 17 or 18 years old at a movie theater, and she didn't remember me, but I remembered her. So.
Yeah, well, she probably didn't recognize you because you didn't have hair.
I had hair then.
I know, you don't now.
And I wore glasses then.
Yeah.
And it was skinnier.
A lot cuter, too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, whatever. She didn't recognize you because you're some old fart now. I don't know. Whatever.
She still looks pretty much the same.
Oh, what? She looked like that when you worked with her in the cinema?
Skinny, blonde hair and a bitch.
Well, she was no spring chicken.
No.
Is that machine supposed to say LO16?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Walter's making chicken paprika for dinner, if you're interested in knowing, with Spezzle, whatever, which is basically German noodle-y kind of things. I love them. Chicken paprika. I think the very first time I ever went to your place for dinner, you made chicken paprika. Of course, that might have been because that was the only thing you knew how to make.
No, I made lasagna before, too.
Well, I never got any lasagna.
Okay, fine.
Oh, you knew
that? At least we didn't have beef stroganoff.
Okay, one time I made beef stroganoff in the microwave. Now, this is the early 80s, okay? I had a microwave. Microwaves in the early 80s were still something that were a bit of a luxury item, and I'd gotten it for Christmas from my parents. And I was all about doing different recipes in a microwave. So I found a recipe for doing beef stroganoff in the microwave. Okay. So nobody told me that it's going to come out gray in those days because I didn't know. It didn't say anything about browning your meat before you put it in the microwave. It didn't taste that bad, but it just looked like gruel. It was horrible gray color, and he's never let me live that down. And that was like 35 bloody years ago.
Well, I didn't marry you for your cooking.
What did you marry me for?
I don't know.
Oh, really? I certainly didn't marry you for... Why did I?
Who knows?
At the time, it seemed the thing. Anyways, whatever. So yeah, he's making that tonight, and Kim says, "Ooh, sounds yummy." Mel says, "You're lucky. I have still 10 years to go." Okay, we're having a little private conversation here. That's fine. Oh, Kim says, "Oh dear, we're not going down that road, are we?" Oh, we've been down the road, over the cliff, down the driveway, whatever, 1,000 times over. Oh, Precy goes, "Domestic." No. A domestic's when I reach behind with their sharp knives. That's
we haven't had a domestic in a while.
We don't bother because it's not worth the effort anymore. Why bother you wasting all our energy yelling at each other? He does what he wants to do, and I have to accept it. It works for him.
Well, so about you.
What? I'm very easy to get along with.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so that was RMG Friday. I don't know how many more of those we're going to be doing because, in fact, I said to
actually, we found out some.
Some Juicies.
Juicies on the art gallery.
Yeah, Juicies. Gosh, right. Two principal people, well, one more so than the other one, are leaving the gallery. It's sort of like lately the rats are leaving the sinking ship, which there's been a change in philosophy in the art gallery, and there's also been a change in sort of managerial positions. And two people from the same department, which actually we kind of now fall under since they got rid of all the educators, so I'm not that anymore. This guy's come in, and he's supposed to be organizing the volunteers, and I don't know, I think he does events. I don't know what they would call him. Oh, well, Carla, the person he's replacing, and he's only temporarily replacing her because she went on maternity leave.
Yeah, in this country, you can usually take about a year off.
Take 18
year
months.
And a half. You can take 18 months
18
off.
months, year and
a lot of people take about a year because what they get is, usually what happens is, we have something called unemployment insurance that you pay into, and if you get unemployed, then they'll pay you a wage, right? But in the case of being pregnant, they will pay you out the wage while you're on maternity leave, and I think that is up to a year, even though she could take 18 months off.
Oh, so they
right?
Whatever.
But most employers will match what they pay for the unemployment insurance, so you get about 60 or 70% of your salary while you're off on maternity leave.
Shit, we should have gotten pregnant.
Yeah, I know.
Damn, missed that opportunity.
Now, also,
you're carrying.
Also, what they have to do is they have to guarantee the person on maternity leave their job back when they come back.
Yeah. So anyways, she left just a few weeks ago off, and she had her baby on October the 20th, and everything was well there, which was good because she was told that she couldn't have children. She'd had, I don't know if she'd had more than one miscarriage at some point, but I know of one that she had. She told me about it. And this was a complete surprise to them because I guess apparently she went to the doctor because she wasn't feeling well, and she thought she had a viral infection. The doctor says, "No, you don't have a viral infection. You're pregnant." So there you go. I'm really not sure how the symptoms of being pregnant and a viral infection are the same, but I've never been pregnant, so I don't know. Yeah, well, maybe that was it. I have no idea. Anyway, so of course she was very happy about that, but it was kind of touch and go because, is she going to miscarry again? I mean, scary stuff there. But no, everything was fine. But here's the name. I have never heard this name before.
Apparently it's common.
It is?
Yeah.
Where? What planet?
Apparently it's fair. It's in the common as far as nowadays common.
Okay. Well, the name is, and you can tell me if you've heard this name or not before. I think it's Draven. D-R-A-V-E-N.
Could be Draven.
Could be Draven. Could be Draven. You say Draven. I say Draven. You say
Draven
tomato. I say tomato. Whatever. Then his middle name is William. Okay, no big deal there. But now, the next name, we're still not sure whether they're intending to make this his surname or this is another middle name, because the next name is Sinwell. The father's last name is
Burwell.
Burwell. And the mother's last name is Sinclair. And the mother never took the husband's name, which is not uncommon this day and age. And in fact, I'm all kind of for that.
Yeah.
Because, why should a woman take on a man's name in this day and age? Especially because a lot of people get married a little later in life and they've already established their careers. And if they're professionals or whatever, this is what people know them by. But we're thinking, we don't know this for certain, that they took the first 3 letters of the mother's last name, put them together with the last 4 letters of the father's surname, and the kid has a new surname, and it's Sinwell. So rather than doing a hyphenated name, or taking on the father's name, or taking on just the mother's name, which I don't know how that works in society these days, whether that's something that's done or not, they created a new surname. Maybe. Don't know for sure because I haven't talked to her about it. But I am going to ask about that because, well, I have done genealogy in the past, and genealogy with regular names is kind of hard to do. I just can't imagine in 100 years I'm looking through and trying to figure out who this person belonged to if they've actually created a surname. And I guess you probably can because you can go legally and you're naming it. I think legally you can do that. I don't know. So, interesting. Let's see here. There's a lot of comments coming out here. Whoa, a lot of stuff here. Okay, just bear with me for a second, Pia. Andy says, I love it. Did the new people coming to the gallery learn how things worked and what was going on before they started changing things? Oh, probably not. Kim says, oh my God, when I took maternity leave, it was 6 months and I returned in just over 4 months and my daughter wasn't even 4 months old yet. What was I thinking? I have no idea. Never had a kid. Don't want one. Too bad. So sad. Not my fault. Shouldn't have had that extra glass of wine that night, eh? Yeah, Kim says, nausea, I'm guessing, about the viral thing.
Yeah, probably.
Anita says, wow, here in the USA, you're lucky to get 6 weeks off. Yep, we know. Carol has never heard that name before. Kim says, okay, not a name I've ever heard before either. Nope, neither have we. They've combined their surnames. Sounds like it. Yeah, that's what I think. Anita's never heard of that name. Carol has heard of combining names. Okay, Priest says Sinclair, Jesus bloodline. Not sure what that means. Kim says, I named my son Jameson, which is my surname. We call him Jamie, but a co-worker at the time wondered if he would be Jameson Hurst. Oh, no, I don't think so. Well, I'll tell you a little story about that. When my brother had his son, Harrison, is what his name is now, at the time they were trying to figure out names. And my sister-in-law did not want him to have a name that could be hyphenated or shortened. But she also wanted to do something that was more biblical because they were good Catholics. Sorry if you're Catholic and I've offended you, but guess what? Catholics offend me, so it's all same. Okay? How much of this have I had?
Yeah.
Not enough. So anyways, she wanted to call him like something like
Isaiah,
because you couldn't shorten that. Well, my last name, is Bland, so of course my nephew's last name is Bland. He's my brother's son. And I said, what do you mean you can't shorten it? People could call him, is he Bland? Think about it. Is he Bland?
Actually, at the time, there was a designer who went on as Izzy, and he was Isaiah.
Yeah, but last name wasn't Bland.
No, it wasn't. No.
So anyways, so my mother had been pushing the idea the same. My sister-in-law's maiden name is Harrison. So my mother said, why don't you call him Harrison? And Harrison, like Harrison Ford, whatever. And actually, I kind of like that name, Harrison, with that. Well, my sister-in-law, yeah, that was it. I got things out of order. My sister-in-law said, no, because people end up calling him Harry Bland, and didn't want him called Harry Bland. And that's when I said, and what, you can't shorten Isaiah? Is he Bland? Well, needless to say, my nephew is Harrison Bland. But we were always sworn and promised that we would never call him Harry. So we haven't, except my father, his grandfather. My father, when Harrison was very, very little, he used to say under his breath, where's little Harry? And this kind of stuff, just to get people's goats. Well, the only people's goat he was getting was my sister-in-law, his daughter-in-law, out of that. But he used to do that because that was the way my father was
Of
sometimes.
course, your other nephew was William Robert, and they were calling him Billy.
Billy Bob. Billy Bob. Well, he was named after both of his grandfathers. And my father's first name was William, although he went by his middle name, Lyle. And my brother-in-law's father's name is Robert. So they call him, he's William Robert Aldsworth, because it's my sister's kid, right? So she took her husband's name. And my father did the same thing, go, where's little Billy Bob? Billy Bob. We don't call him Billy Bob. Actually, I call him William, always have. But I know that I think when he at university and at high school, he's referred to as Wills. And
Okay.
so, or Will, with it. Wills is very royal family. Because that's what they used to call William Prince William. They used to call him Wills.
Well, now they've got a Harry.
Yeah, they've got a Harry. So, whatever. But anyways, names are funny things, I guess, with it. In fact, my name is not supposed to be what it is. Now, my great-grandfather's name was William Olsler. There's a name. Bland. My grandfather's name was William Percy Bland. My father's name was William Lyle Bland, and I was supposed to be William Stephen Bland. My mother wanted me to be called William Stephen Bland to keep the family tradition because it was the firstborn of the firstborn of the firstborn all had William in the front of it. My father says, I don't want any kid named after me. So my name ended up being Stephen Eric Bland. And there were many years when I wanted to be called Eric and not Stephen. But I thought Eric was a cooler name than Stephen. But
Well, my parents, I was named after my grandfather, whose name is Walter.
Walter.
W-O-U-T-E-R. But they anglicized my name to Walter.
Okay.
Right? So they actually were kind of nice to anglicize my name because
Why?
my other sister isn't anglicized, Jessie.
Oh, yeah.
My other
Yitzka.
It's Yitzka,
Yitzka.
but she doesn't go by that name. She
I don't
goes
know.
by
You
Jessie.
hear that and you want to go, Yitzka. It's the Miranda. Yitzka.
It's
Yitzka.
after my grandmother. And so yeah, I don't and Richard was Richard's my middle name, and it was sort of after my father, which was Dirk.
Dirk. Yeah, but Dirk is
Dirk.
very...
Yeah, I know Dirk, but everybody called him Dick.
And there was times when I knew your father that I thought he was, but...
And my dad got this thing where he had to engrave all his tools to make. He engraved them. And I inherited the tools, so all my tools say Dick on.
So, this wrench belongs to some Dick.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, okay. But anyways, names are funny, and I see here, I was looking at the comments, and I guess this isn't so uncommon for people to, like, Kathy says, I know of a couple from New England who named the children with parts of each parent's name.
Okay.
So, you know, like, I guess, I don't know, we did name the cat Cleo.
Vanderbland.
Well, yes, well, actually, her full name was Cleo Margaret Vanderbland. When she was being a little bitch, we'd call her by her middle name, Margaret, because I'm sorry if there's anybody out there with the name Margaret, but every Margaret we have ever known, their name is synonymous with the word bitch. If you look in the dictionary under the word bitch or Margaret, you'll find a picture of his sister. She's dead. Good. We've talked about his sister before. So
She
never
was
mind.
difficult.
Yeah, we've done that one. So anyways, if you want to know more about his sister, go back somewhere along in the old vlogs, not sure where. Okay, so anyways, today, art journal class. Good class. We did something called paste paint papers. Paste papers. It's a Barb Owen thing, if you know who Barb Owen is. And I've done them before, but I've never done them with this group. So we did them today, and actually they liked it. They had a good time, and they worked on them a lot faster. I was home earlier than I figured because I thought it was going to take us a lot longer. There's a lot of drying time with that, and we didn't blow one breaker or anything with all the heat guns going. Got 10 people in the class. So they were good, and I think they bought a lot of stuff from Carol today too, which is good. This is the owner of the store, and that's good because she's not open on Sundays, but I do this class once a month on a Sunday, and so she's sort of the store is sort of open to those people that are there for the class. And I suppose if someone walked in off the street, she's not going to turn them away because she's there anyways, of course. Mm-hmm. But she was telling me today too, though, that the scrapbooking business right now has gone into a slump.
I've kind of figured they were always in a slump.
Well, the last few years has not been good for scrapbooking stores. They've been closing left and right, and Carol's kept her head above water, and hopefully she can continue to do so. But she's having some trouble with suppliers. She used to get everything from the States, and now because of the tariff laws and NAFTA and Trump and everything else, it's been really affecting business for her, like in getting stuff and whatnot. And some of these companies in the States are not exporting to Canada like they did before, and when they do, it's taking them forever to get her stuff to her. And so, like she was saying today, she has all this Christmas stuff on order. This is November. Scrapbookers like to get their Christmas stuff in about September.
Yeah.
And it's still not coming. And she's had it ordered since September. And before, actually, some of it she ordered in August. So,
yeah, that's not very good.
Mm-mm. So
it seems like the quilt shops are all closing down, and all the a lot of stained glass stores closed down.
Because people aren't, and who was it we were discussing this with not so long ago? Maybe it was just you and I talking or something. People aren't in a lot of these arts, and I call them arts. I don't call them crafts. They are art. A lot of the younger people are not moving into them. I mean, you go to a quilters guild and, I hate to say it, but at 61, I'm one of the younger ones there. That's kind of showing, even when we were at the quilt show yesterday.
The problem with stained glasses is that a lot of the, in Canada, there was a big supplier that closed down. And so a lot of the stuff has to come from the States, or actually from China now. And the problem with stained glass is a lot of the supplies are not environmentally friendly, and so manufacturers that have to follow environmental standards have problems producing some of the stuff.
Yeah, and just as an aside for Andy, for the comment you made a moment ago, okay, that's enough. And if you don't get it, you will. Just look at what she wrote before. I'm just proving a point. That's all I'm doing. Let's see, what are people saying? Kim says, I think the modern quilt movement has helped with this in quilting. Yeah, because I think, a lot of people think that aren't into quilting, and I was probably one of those before I got bitten by the quilting bug. It's a lot of log cabin, down home, country looking things, your grandmother's quilt kind of a deal. Well, yes, there is lots of that, and that's to be appreciated because it is traditional and you learn from the traditions. Mm-hmm. But the modern quilts, the quilts that people are doing, mm-hmm. those are art. I mean, what Walter created, he had to do thread painting on it. There wasn't a lot of thread painting, but it's still thread painting. And if you don't know what thread painting is, it's basically painting with thread. Okay, like go figure. But actually, it's a free form of quilting in a sense, free motion in a sense.
And I've seen some other quilts that are more modern, that are more artistic, and they're really interesting to see.
And coming to think of this, Kim's on here from Chatterbox Quilts, and on the Quilter's Way, and in her members group, she just did a video showing how to use your decorative stitches on your sewing machine to create your own fabric. And it's fantastic, and it gave me so many ideas for future quilts with that. But after I saw what Kim was doing with it, I went on to Craftsy, or what they call Blueprint now. That's the paid part of Craftsy, the one where you get a year's membership, and I have a year's membership. They had just put up a thing about using your machine to do embroidery and different things, but using your decorative stitches. And it worked right alongside with what Kim was showing and gave me a lot of ideas. So
yeah, and actually I was watching it. It looked pretty amazing.
Yeah.
What you could do even with a simple machine that isn't necessarily an embroidery machine or anything like that.
So, I mean, that's art. That is still art. That's textile art. And I think more art galleries should be exploring the possibility. They should be approaching these guilds. And we have several of them here in our area. And I think our art gallery should be exploring that and actually offer to put up a show about quilts.
Because that one that Sharon did was definitely...
Oh, beautiful. You'll see it tomorrow because I did a little video. But Sharon is somebody who used to work at Ultimate Sewing. She retired. She taught classes and she was there for years and that. And she is a master in sewing everything and quilting. She had a picture of Elton John that was done. She actually wrote to the person who had taken the picture of Elton John. And this was a professional photographer for Elton John. It was a professional portrait done. And asked for the rights to take that image and make it into a quilt. And she did. And it is fantastic.
And she used stitching for shading.
Yeah, she used thread painting on it and all stuff. And what was it? One person, well, it was Shirley, because she was at the show, who owns Ultimate Sewing. She said to us, she says, I've seen a lot, she said, of people who do these portrait things in quilts, and you're not sure who it is. She says, there is no doubt that that's Elton John. And it's not. It was so accurate. And now we were talking to Sharon about this and said, you know, this has got to win an award here. She's going to show it in a couple of other shows. And then what she'd like to do is she'd like to gift it to Elton John himself. But she's not really sure how to get a hold of him, because she says he doesn't really have a presence in social media that she can find.
She wasn't sure. She figures that he's a star. He may get all kinds of people giving him stuff, right? But she also said that she wouldn't mind donating it to
his AIDS Foundation.
Yeah, he has a charity for AIDS Foundation.
Yeah, so anyways, I said to her, well, if he accepts your quilt, I said, I think he should come and take you out to dinner and pick it up. And that's not a far stretch of the imagination, because he's married to a guy who grew up in Coburg, or at least his mother is in Coburg, here in Ontario.
Which is only about half an hour.
Yeah, no, 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
From us, east of us. And not only that, but Elton John owns at least one. He might own two estates or places here in Ontario, not far from our area, like Toronto-ish kind of a thing. So, you know.
He even did a couple of concerts in our community center.
Yeah, he's been to Oshawa. Woo, he's been to the Schwa. So, there you go. But yeah, but you'll see it tomorrow. I did a little quickie video of some of the quilts in the quilt show, and I'm putting it up on the vlog tomorrow. So be sure to see. I think it's pretty much the very first one in the video with it. But it is fantastic. I mean, I can only aspire to do something like that, and that's not going to happen tomorrow. Maybe next week. No, I don't think so. Of course, speaking about quilt shows, kind of went backwards again. I am designing, we're having a quilt show for our guild a year from now. And they've given out already what they call the challenge. And it's a 1/2 meter of fabric. You pay $10 for this, and they give you the rules and regulations. And you're supposed to design a quilt that uses this fabric as the predominant fabric in the quilt. Now, the quilt sizes are a little limiting. Basically, you're making a throw with the size mat. But I've already started to design it, because the material they picked is material that I already had a couple of meters of, because I've made something out of it before or used it in part of something. It's all butterflies, and I love butterflies in material and anything. And it's really pretty material. So I went on to Electric Quilt, which is a computerized program, and created my design. I created several designs until I finally decided on the one that I'm going to use now. It's a little bold, it's a little unusual, and that's what I wanted. And the fabrics I've picked are like that too. And it is, and I'm going to do some embroidering on it, I've decided. I don't think I told Walter about this earlier. But anyways, I tried this morning before I went to my class too. This is going to work out good. It's going to look cool. Will I win anything? I don't care. I'm not doing it to win anything. I'm doing it because it's a challenge, and I think it's going to be a really good quilt when I get it done. And I'm going to be very, very, very precise and careful every step of the way. I've got a year, so I'm not rushing this with it.
So you can make several.
I have other projects I have to do too, so it doesn't matter. But anyways, so the quilt show, well, how did I get it? What part are we at? At class? How did I get back to the quilt show?
No, I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyways, yeah, this Elton John thing, so it was really great. All right, so moving on to something different. We got flu shots this week. Yeah, I know there are people who go, I don't ever get a flu shot because it makes me sick. You're full of crap. I'm going to say this up front. Don't care if I've offended you. You know nothing about modern biology or immunizology. Of course, Deb left. She was the nurse. Okay. Actually, the nurses are the worst. They're the ones that don't get it. Nurses and teachers. Oh my God. Okay. Let's talk about this. Children. What are children? Children are little disease-bearing little bodies that are snotting all over you. And I'm not talking just about the little ones. The big ones that I taught were like that too. Come about the 1st of October, they're already hacking up loogies everywhere. There's snot and crap on their desks, everything. You've got to go in and spray them down with Lysol before you even start to teach them. I mean, like it says, and they are. And they blow germs on everything. Teachers build up immunity. You are never sickest as you are in your first 2 years of teaching. It takes that long to build up immunity to every bloody disease these little suckers bring into your classroom. And you're still always using like Lysol wipes on everything. Kids step at your desk, you're helping them with something. After they leave, I'm wiping it down. Hand sanitizer is a teacher's friend. And not just for your hands. When they walk into the room, you spray them down with hand sanitizer. Find a partner, rub it in. Okay? So, getting a flu shot is a must. But no. Now, uneducated people, I can accept the fact they don't understand the principles of immunizology, where they stick you with a dead form of the disease to build up antibodies in your system that will fight the live form of the disease if you happen to come across it. Basic immunology, a lot more to it, I am sure, but I taught English, not biology. So, yeah, I had teachers tell me, oh no, that'll give you the flu. No, it doesn't. Oh, I get sick. You'll only get sick from it if you have a reaction to it. That's why they always ask you if you have an allergy to eggs, because apparently there's something in the serum, which is an extract from eggs, a protein, an enzyme or something.
I think the stuff they suspend the solution in, or whatever it's from.
Whatever, but you could have a bit of a reaction to it. We had the flu, 10 years ago.
More than 10 years.
Was it more than 10 years ago? We were sick for 5 bloody days.
And I thought I was going to die.
We were so sick. He moved into the guest bedroom. I'm in our main room. We were wearing diapers because it was coming out. This is gross. It was coming out of every orifice. And at pretty much the same time.
And I had a huge, terrible temperature.
Oh my God. And we'd go in and out of consciousness throughout the days. And every time I'd wake up, I'd go, are you alive? And I'd get this, I think so. It was horrible. And that was basically before they started the flu shots. And as soon as they started the flu shots, we went, oh yeah.
Well, I started getting them because my mother went into a nursing home. And, but then later, I'm still been getting them because ever since I've had the flu shots, I've never really had the flu.
No, knock wood.
Now, mind you, I have had a mild case of the flu, but nothing like that time we had it.
That was horrible. That was the sickest I'd ever been in my life. Well, I'm luckily one of those people I seldom ever get sick.
Yeah, he doesn't. Like when I went to China, I had the
Chinese curse.
And he never got it. And I had it a couple of
Oh my God, if there'd been wallpaper on those walls in those bathrooms, there wouldn't have been any left after he came out. Oh God, it was horrible with that. But anyways, yeah. So I have no sympathy for people who turn around and say, I don't get the flu shot. And I don't care what your bloody reasons are. Unless you know for sure because you're not getting the flu shot because you're going to die from getting it because you have a very severe allergic reaction to whatever's in the flu shot, then shut up. And you want to know why? I'm not thinking about you. I'm thinking about me. Don't you go out there and not take a flu shot and spread the damn disease amongst everybody else. You want to kill some little kids and some old people? Go for it. You know, whatever. No. That is being civilly, no, your civic duty is to protect your community. And you protect your community by being immunized against a disease that can kill. Simple as that. And in Ontario, there's no excuse for not getting a flu shot because it's free. It's absolutely, okay, your taxes paid for, but it's free. Free, 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 free. And it doesn't hurt. I know I don't like needles, okay? I'm not a fan of being in that. But no problem. We went to our, and they've made it easy to get. You can go to any pharmacy pretty much in the province, and you go in. You don't need an appointment. Okay, you might wait a little bit, but and the pharmacist shoots you with it. And now they have this neat little device. At least our pharmacist did in our Shoppers Drug Mart. He put this, you know how they like clean where they're going to stick in the needle, right? The alcohol, whatever. Well, then he put a little round, looked like a Band-Aid kind of a thing, but it was like a bullseye. And he stuck the needle through the bullseye. And then it just stays there. And I was looking at it later, and there was a little blood, like, okay, because sometimes you get a little blood out, but nothing. What it is, and I think this is ingenious. It's a Band-Aid, but it has this little plastic membrane over it. The needle goes in, he gives you the shot, the needle comes out, the membrane closes, seals it off. Instead of having to go and stick you with that cheap tape, this little adhesive tape they stick on your arm with the bloody little cotton ball underneath it, there it is. I thought that's really cool. So just as soon as they invent needles, like on Star Trek, where you don't have an actual needle, it just sort of...
They still have those. They have those.
What?
Yeah.
Well, what do they do?
They used to, when I was a kid and get immunized, they'd line you up and they had an injection gun.
No, but on Star Trek, there's no needles in them.
Yeah, there was no needle in them.
Well, I never had... When you were a kid, you...
Yeah, I had that.
Oh, I think you're dreaming.
No.
That never happened to me. They had needles. I'll never forget this.
Injection
polio one that has the 6.
Yeah.
Well, everyone goes,
well, yeah.
Yeah, that was the worst needle in my life. I remember getting that as a kid. That's the one that it all scabs up and does everything. Although I don't have any marks where that went in.
Yeah, I used to have
Yeah, I know, but I don't have that anymore. Oh, well. Must be my wrinkles
used to have to do that when we went to Holland.
Yeah, well, anyways. So, get your flu shot. So, let's see. Lots of things here. Walter's Quilt's gorgeous. Was a photographer, Tracy says, I guess for the Elton John thing. Mr. Nutter. I have no idea. Is that a real person? Mr. Nutter?
Or is that a peanut butter
okay, yeah, wasn't there something, fluffy
nutter butter?
Nutter butter or something like that. Medical marijuana is making me super crafty and creative. Wow. Oh, crazy. You get medical marijuana, come to Ontario, come to Canada. It's free now. Of course, they're all out of it, but, whatever. Let's see. Elton's a technophobe. Oh, Tracy says Elton's a technophobe. That's why he's probably not have social media. And Kathy Patterson says, well, he has 2 children now who might like to have it. Good for you for entering your quote show. Guilt. Entering in the guild. Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. And Kim I got my flu shot a couple of weeks ago and still have the bruise. Yeah, it's hit and miss who gives you the shot, I find sometimes.
I didn't get anything.
No, this time I didn't have anything. Kim says, unfortunately, I already had picked up those wonderful germs from the little deers and had my own bout of flu early in the school year. Yep. Anita says, laugh out loud, nurses are bad patients. Yes, I worked in a pediatric group for a while, and my first year I was sick all the time.
Just like teachers are bad students.
Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, teachers are the worst. Free, and you can get it at so many places, Kim says. And Kim says, yep, I remember those too, Walter. I think that was testing for TB. Oh.
Yeah, that could be it too.
Okay. I don't really remember that.
I can't remember. I was a kid when I had it, and I don't know what it was, so.
Hi, Ilona.
I can't remember. It could be it was testing for TB.
And Anita says, in the nursing homes, we hated the holidays because everyone came in to see their relatives, and then we had units of sick elderly staff. Yes. And my mother's gets a flu shot in the hospital. or whatever, and she put her name down on the list for it. And I've taken her other years to get it, and she gets it faithfully. So, and she's had a pneumonia one too, but that was back. But I think you only need those every 10 years or something. I've never had a pneumonia one.
I had one when my mother, I asked my doctor about it when my mother went to a nursing home. And she said, at the time, I was younger, and she said, oh, well, we usually don't give people your age one of those.
Oh.
But maybe you should ask her about it again.
I think they should cut off your leg and count the rings. They'll know your true age then. So, anyways, this is running now to our time. Yeah. So, newsworthy. Well, in Ontario, we are now open for business according to the signs that the new premier has put up at a cost of $106,000. There will be 18 signs at all the borders crossing into our province. So we are open for business. The only thing I think it would make them more effective is if they had a prostitute with the sign between her legs. Ontario, open for business. Yeah. Biggest waste of money there ever was, and he's an asshole, and that's all I need to say about that. And what's eating Walter? Your packages.
Easy open packages that you can't open. And then they have those nice little things that they close. Was it these like Ziploc bag type closures? And none of them seem to close. What's with packaging?
I have the same problem.
And the other thing is that sometimes you can get like cans, like tuna cans and stuff like that. They have like the lid that has that's supposedly easy open with the finger.
Yeah, the fold it,
right? But it's lethal once you get it open.
Oh, you never get near the edge. God, it's like a rotary cutter. Like, yep.
So I wish packaging was a little bit more. Like, I don't know how they test these things because they must not get normal people to try and open them.
Once they're going, no.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I don't know. They're childproof.
Like today, I went to open a thing of chicken broth. Well, it has a little foil tab to pull it. Well, do you think I could pull the damn foil tab? I had to get something to poke it open.
Well, my mother's, she couldn't, what did I get her? I got her something, it was Tylenol. And it had this, it's sort of a childproof thing, but you know, you have to push down on it and turn it, and she couldn't do it.
Well, so, now they have old people ones.
Oh, do they have old people ones?
Yeah, well, you just open
them. They're called nurses. Here, take that. Whatever. I don't know. But yeah, Kim says those pull tabs are lethal. Yes, they are. And yeah, I mean, pretty sad when the only thing that's pissing off Walter this week is opening a package.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I'm sort of like, the other thing is like driving situations, which annoy me.
Oh, we've talked about that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. So, like, I figured I had to think of something that was...
Well, how about I kick you down the stairs and you'll have something to be pissed off next week with as you're in a traction.
Well, I'll grab you and drag you down with me.
Oh, you've done that before. Yeah. Okay, so what are we watching on TV? Well, what am I watching? Netflix. I love Netflix. Or in Prime, too. But no, this is Netflix. They came out with Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of... Yeah, I am watching it. It's hokey, but if you remember the old television show, it's Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and she originates from the Archie comics and all this stuff. It's a little bit more... I don't want to say... It's a little bit more mature in the way that they're doing it. Kind of a thing, but it's an amusing little time waster, okay? And you know, back in the day, in the 1960s, one of my favorite television programs was Bewitched, okay? I loved Bewitched. I love anything that's got magic in it, you know, really. You know, like Doctor Strange and stuff like that. He's making eyes, whatever.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we saw the movie.
Oh, yeah,
Doctor Strange. I like Doctor Strange. Or like, you know, Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. Well, not to the point where I would dress up like him or anything like that, but, you know, I like that kind of stuff. Another one's called Elite. Now, I haven't watched this yet, but it looks kind of interesting. It looks like it's sort of a high school thing, but it's a private school.
There's another one. I can't remember the name of it now.
Well, it's The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, there's also one that plays that, I can't remember the name of it now, but... It has the lead character as Barb.
What? Stranger Things.
Yeah, she's Barb.
Oh, but they
lady.
have Barb in it.
Well, no, the woman that played Barb.
Oh.
She's the lead character in it, and it's a high school thing too.
Oh, maybe that's Elite.
No, it's not. It's not Elite. It's something Burwell or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to look
Yeah.
for that and see what it is. Just looking here. Anita says, Stephen, we have the midterm vote on Tuesday. They're killing us with all the ads. Yes, I know.
Oh, yeah, you have that.
Yes, you have that, which I don't pretend that I understand why you have midterm elections in the United States, how that works, but whatever. Go Democrats. I'm cheering for you that way. Anything more to weaken that asshole that you've got as a president. And by the way, we have our own, as you know, in Ontario, our premier. He's as big an idiot as Trump. So, but he's only a premier of a province. He's not our prime minister. So I guess there's a saving grace in that. Kim says, yes, I've been watching Sabrina too. A bit darker, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's definitely not Bewitched, she says, yep. Andy says, spent the day binge watching Amazon Prime series Homecoming with Julia Roberts. Really enjoyed it, worth the binge. Oh, okay. I saw that advertised because I have Prime, but I haven't watched it yet. So I would say you're saying that it's worth the watch. Okay, might look at that. Kim says, The Haunting of Hill House is scary. Oh, so Kim, you're watching all the stuff on Netflix. We are too.
We haven't had a lot of time to watch anything.
No, because we're out every other night. Like one of us, like on Monday nights, he's been going to the gym. On Tuesday nights, he's been going to his class.
Thursday nights, I go to the gym.
Yeah, this Thursday, whatever. We're everywhere and whatnot. And 3 days.
I am not looking much more svelte, so.
No, but that baby's due any day.
Yeah.
Don't. That's why I like the counter at this height. That works for me. Kim says, have you watched Insatiable? No, have not.
What's it on?
Is it on Netflix or Prime or what?
Insatiable.
Because I think I saw that listed somewhere. You can watch Netflix during the day, you know.
I've been watching The Last Ship.
I can't watch during the day. I'm too busy quilting, Kim. Really? Really, Kim? Did you think there was time for TV? I mean, I have in the background on my computer in my sewing dungeon, I have my favorite shows playing in the background, all on YouTube, with the exception of one, something called Chatterbox something. I don't know. What were you saying?
I'm watching The Last Ship. I'm on season 4.
See, I never went back to that.
And the thing is that it's kind of hokey. But I kind of like it. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. See, I stopped watching because you went, oh, this is stupid. Thank you.
It's got a nice-looking captain.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he is kind of hot. Yeah. Yeah, how do we pick our TV shows? Oh, that one's hot. Oh, my God, that's a snirkle and a snap. Whatever. And Kim says, that's my guilty pleasure between videotaping and quilting. Tracy watches Hoarders all day.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I've watched that a few times too.
Don't know how much I could
Actually,
do
the problem with Hoarders is you suddenly go around, look in your house, and you want to burn everything and sweep up the ashes and start over.
I can't believe the people that collect all this garbage and now, mind you, my workshop sort of looks like Hoarders.
Oh yeah, Mel says I'm just looking first season of Billions. It's really good. I don't know if it's Netflix. I watch HBO at the moment.
We were watching it for a while, and then we sort of stopped watching.
Yeah, that's our problem. And Priestley says my house is spotless.
One problem
okay,
though is with these series is that you're watching them, and then a year goes by and they don't have any more.
Yeah,
stuff.
And you forget what the heck.
Like the one that I keep looking for is we watched the OA first 2 seasons.
Oh, that's right.
Or first season, and then we're waiting for the second season. I keep looking, and it's supposedly in production, but they haven't gotten.
Yeah, and then by the time you get back to it,
and I can't remember what it was about.
No, I know. That's the problem for old people. You know, we need to have them in a row.
Even was it The Man in the High Castle? We're still watching that, but we had to go. I had to go back and rewatch the previous episode from the previous
so lost
season because we couldn't remember what was going on.
I was going to say too that no, I don't know what I was going to say.
Yeah,
See,
we don't know.
Squirrel. Squirrel.
shows, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, there's so much. We haven't seen any movies lately.
No, but I wouldn't mind going to see that Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, the one sort of panned by the gay community, but
apparently other people like it.
Yeah, so. I guess so. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it. Now you on YouTube, okay? So somebody told me about Christopher Allen, and I already mentioned that before, and now I'm not hooked on him, but
actually, I don't really like him.
No, I know you don't. Well, that's why I watch him too, because I really don't like him either. But I just want to see what kind of over-the-top gay things he does. Well, I found another over-the-top gay guy too. Well, he's not quite as over-the-top. Someone recommended this guy, Raymond at Home. And I'm going to review his channel tomorrow on my vlog, so I'm not going to say that much about it right now. But yeah, you'll have to watch it on the vlog tomorrow to understand what he's all about. Okay, moving on. What am I reading? The same book I've been reading for the last 2 weeks. I decided to read a book that I got my mother. It's called The Distant Hours by Kate Morton. And it's okay, but I read a chapter at night before I go to sleep because it basically makes me nod off. I read it. Not because it's really boring. It's just I have to be in the mood. It's one of those... It's not really a romance. It's sort of historical. There's some mystery to it, things like that. I kind of like those kind of books, but I don't know. Anyways, moving on. What's for dinner? We told you chicken paprika. What is chicken paprika? It's chicken with paprika.
So it sort of almost tastes like chicken with a gravy.
And then what are you cooking? What chicken are you cooking? Yeah, the spezzle's good. What
chicken
kind?
Legs.
Oh, the chicken legs we bought before? Yeah, he insists there has to be bone in to make. I paused for a moment. Not going to say another word about that.
It has to be, and I like dark meat.
Again, I pause for a moment and say nothing. Okay. Yeah, it's quite good. We haven't had it in quite a while.
Yeah, it's a winter thing.
I have this thing about picking meat off a bone.
Well, I can pull the bone off.
Again, I pause and moving on. You have noticed that the color has changed, haven't you? Yes, and actually, we're way over time tonight. God, we're just on a roll. And considering that I was thinking this would be short because I was tired.
I've got to make my special.
Yeah, okay. So anyways, what's coming up very quickly? Going to visit my cousin next Sunday. How does this affect your lives? It does. Let me say. First of all, this is my first cousin. My uncle, my father's brother's child. He's 40. I have not seen him since my uncle, his father, passed away in 2005, kind of prematurely because he was only 59 when he passed away. He had a massive heart attack, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I think I mentioned on one of the things that I have... My father used to be a Mason, but he hadn't darkened the doors of the Masonic Temple in 100,000 years, but always kept up his dues. He has an apron. I have my father's apron for the Masons, and I have my grandfather's apron, and I have 2 rings, Masonic rings, one my grandfather, one my father. They mean absolutely nothing to me. I know they meant something to my father and my grandfather, but I have them. When I was cleaning out my mother's apartment, she had them stored away. What am I going to do with them? I am never going to be a Mason, never want to be a Mason, for a variety of reasons. Actually, most of those reasons are wrong, I realize now. But I used to call my father, oh yeah, you're Ku Klux Klan. But they're really not that. But anyways, so I didn't want to just like throw them away. But what am I going to do with them? Well, my mother seemed to remember that my cousin Scott was involved with the Masonic Temple. So I contacted the Masonic Temple to see if they had a contact information for him down in the town that they live in, which is about an hour and a half away east of us. And they did. And so they contacted my cousin to see if they could give his email address to me. And he said, sure, no problem, fine. So I thought that was good. Because I don't know my cousin very well. I mean, I was 21 when he was born. So, you know, he's 40, I'm 61. So, you know, and we never had a lot of contact all the years back and forth because of where he lived and whatnot. He didn't have a really great relationship with my uncle, with his father, for a variety of reasons and stuff like that. So we never really talked over the years. And I don't have a lot of first cousins. So, you know, like he's one of 3. So that's it. So I got in contact with him and said, you know, I have these aprons. I know you used to be part of the Masonic Temple and the whole bit. Would you be interested in having them? They were your grandfather's and your uncle's kind of a thing and this. And he wrote back to me, he says, oh yeah, you know, he'd love that. He'd been away from that town for a few years because he'd gone back to school. And like I always kind of considered him a bit of a redneck, mainly because his father was a bit of a redneck, my uncle. And that, well, he writes very well in an email. And you know, I was an English teacher, so what do? You send me anything in writing, I am going to analyze your sentence construction, your paragraphing, and all of your punctuation. No problem. And that will tell me everything I need to know about you. So mind your P's and Q's with it, and cross your T's and dot your I's. So he said, yeah, he'd love that. So we're made arrangements. So next Sunday, Walter and I and my sister and possibly my brother-in-law, if he's not working, we're all going down to meet up with him, give him the aprons, and basically catch up since 2005. Actually, we didn't catch up much in 2005. It was a funeral. I did the eulogy. He was there. He was gone. So whatever. So that'll be kind of interesting out of that all. So that... How does this affect you? You may be asking. Okay, this is how this affects you. Or maybe it doesn't. Stephen and Walter Live. We won't be able to do it next Sunday because we will be in transit. So we either skip a week, which we don't like to do because we have you all well trained for a certain time. So we may do it on Saturday next week. Probably be around the same time, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it'll be Saturday. So I'm sure that affects your schedules one way or the other. So if you can join us then, please do. If you can't, you can catch it on the broadcast. We understand. So not a problem. But anyways, thought we'd let you know, and I'll be reminding people that in the vlog tomorrow. So anyways, just one quick look here to see what people are seeing, and then, whoa, whole lot of stuff going on today. And 23 people with us today. Tell your friends. I'd like to get it up to 25. Oh, wow. I don't know how far back I've got to go. Okay. Okay, here we go. Mel says, have you seen the movie called Milk? I watched it some days ago, and it was quite good. It tells about American... Yes, we have.
We have, yeah.
We have seen it, and it is good. And it gives you a very good perspective on the whole gay movement of that time period as well. Anita says, our library had an evening of Indian food with, oh my God, too hot for me. Oh, one of our favorite foods is Indian food. Love it. Andy says, I believe Sean Penn was nominated for an Academy Award for the performance. Yes. Yeah, he was. Yes, and he did a really good job of it, actually. Okay, there's a whole lot of conversation going on here that we're just not privy to. Carol says, laugh out, remind me never to email you, Stephen. Why? I'm nice. Sometimes. Oh, Mel says, should go to movie this month to see Bohemian Rhapsody. Andy says, good writing doesn't count in the chat. No, it doesn't.
Actually, it's not that bad. My grammar sucks, so.
Yeah, it does. Carol says, give the guys a thumbs up, please. Yeah, thank you. We will take that. You know, I never beg for this. You hear it all the time at the end of YouTube broadcasts, and it's something you will never hear me do on my vlog or on this. I don't say, hey, if you like this, give us a thumbs up and just subscribe down here below. And you want to see my other videos, they're over here on this side. And on this side, I've got naked pictures. No, I never do that. And you know why I don't do it? I don't care. Okay, no, really. We don't do this for popularity. We do it because it's a hobby. And we kind of enjoy talking to you, and we have, you know, all of you are pretty much regulars, so we kind of consider you friends, even though we've never physically met, with the exception of Nairi, who, because of Australia, where she is, this is really early in the morning tomorrow for her, and she's a teacher, so she has to go to work, kind of a thing. But you know, we appreciate you watching it, but we don't do this for any other reason except it's just fun to do. It's sort of like having pen pals, but you don't have to write. It's easier.
Yeah, that's
So,
always a pain in the
yeah.
butt.
And it's nice to hear what you people have to say and the whole
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, I like the running commentary and stuff like that too.
And if we bring a smile to your face because we're crazy, thank you, Andy, or crazy, or whoever said that we're a crazy guy. Yeah, we are. But whatever. But we appreciate you all. And anyways, this has been a long one today. And I have to get my spitzel, whatever, my little German noodles. So, next week, possibly Saturday. Woo! Maybe, in honor of it being a Saturday, we should change our location. Do we've done
Like
it from
the
the
roof?
rec room. With a roof? I don't think that's going to work for you very well. Yeah, maybe we should. Oh, Stephen and Walter live from the hot tub.
Oh,
I don't think so. That's never happening because we'd probably drop the.
no,
the
you
iPad.
wouldn't be able to hear.
No, you wouldn't be able to hear it because of that.
Bubbles would.
No, and Andy goes, "Thank God." Thank you for that. Really? Okay. Anyways, all right. We'll see you guys next Saturday, 4:00, hopefully, with it. New time. I will put up the reminder on Saturday as well. So we'll see you all then. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.
Okay. Why is it not?
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.